Well, time now for our special focus of the day, and it's a story that could affect each and every one of us. India was left stunned on the news of the Kannada superstar Puneeth Rajkumar's passing on Friday at the young age of 46. Doctors said the actor developed chest pains after his regular exercise, after his regular workout on Friday morning. The sad and untimely death has once again highlighted India's struggle with heart diseases. Why are heart attacks rising among young Indians? Well, we have the best cardiac surgeons in the country joining us on Left, Right and Centre tonight, because this is an issue we know that worries you, our viewers. We have Dr. Devi Prasad Shetty, Chairman and Executive Director of Narayana Health, and we have Dr. T. Claire, Chairman of the Fortis Memorial Research Institute, Gurugram, and the Fortis Hospital in New Delhi. Dr. Shetty, thank you for joining us. This, like I said, sad, untimely, shocking demise due to heart attacks. This is a phenomena that we're seeing, we're witnessing at large in India. We're seeing reported more. It seems like it's being reported a lot more over the past year. Over the past few years, we've seen a number of famous TV, film personalities suffering from fatal cardiac arrests in their 40s. I know there's a WhatsApp doing the rounds attributed to you, which you have said is fake. But why exactly is this happening, do you think?
First of all, we are genetically 3 times more vulnerable for heart disease than Europeans. And also, we develop heart disease at a very young age. So my advice to everyone who wants to get into extreme sports or very, very vigorous exercise, they have to go for at least screening of the heart. And there are only 3 simple tests they need to do. Just one ECG, echocardiogram, and past the age of 40, it's better they go for a CT scan of the heart. And all these tests is available next door diagnostic labs. Once these are all right, then they can exit, because half the patients who suffer from heart disease have no symptoms. It's called silent ischemia. Half of the patients. If somebody says that, look, I am fit, I can run 10 miles, that doesn't mean anything. They may still be having very critical blockages, or they may be having thickening of the heart muscle called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy or coronary artery anomalies, which can cause sudden death. So it is very, very important that people understand, if they want to get into very severe form of exercise, jumping up and down on a treadmill, they have to go for the screening. And that is the best way to prevent all these accidents.
But I want to first establish if this is, a phenomenon that we're only reporting over the past 2 years. For example, Dr. Claire, when we were growing up, heart attacks were a danger that one associated mostly with older adults. But of late, we seem to be hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, we seem to be hearing of men, mostly men, especially in their 40s. What about COVID-19 and the heart? Over the last year, there seems to be a number of cases of heart attacks being reported after patients were recovering from COVID. Of course, the one that comes to mind was the owner of Fratelli Wines right at the start, before the second wave. Is that true? Is this something that's new, or it's been something that's been going on that we haven't reported enough?
See, first of all, there are 2 aspects to this question. One is the younger people getting heart attacks and sudden cardiac death. First of all, I think in this country we don't understand that sudden cardiac death and heart attack are not same thing. They are different things. Of course, ultimately all the patients with heart disease, they die because of the cardiac arrest. But what has caused the cardiac arrest is important. So the people below 35 years of age, actually most common cause is not the blockages in the heart artery. The most common cause is some other disease, like Dr. Devi Shetty pointed out that there is a disease called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. That is the number 1. Number 2, there is something called arrhythmogenic right ventricular dystrophy, or a cardiomyopathy of different kind. Then there are some other genetic problems like Brugada syndrome and QT prolongation. So these are their heart on echo may be normal. So that's a different ball game at all. But people more than 40 years of age usually, now in India, if they get chest pain and they suddenly die, the chest pain is an indication that this is a coronary artery disease, that means you are dealing with the blockages in the coronary arteries. See, one thing is very clear that in India, the coronary artery disease occurs at least 10 years before the Westerner population. So we get the disease at a young age. That's number one. Number two, the incidence is increasing. There's no doubt about it, because there is so much of bad lifestyle in the last 20-25 years. And the thing which we are not realizing, that the smoking incidence in last 25 years has increased, and air pollution, environmental factor is number 2 reason for atherosclerosis, which people don't realize. So no doubt that the incidence of coronary artery disease is increasing. See, another thing I want to tell you, that if somebody is gymming, for example, somebody is doing exercise and he has no symptom, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have a coronary artery disease. So the most important thing is that people who want to do high intensity exercise, they must have a cardiac checkup before they resort to high intensity exercise. And in that there are 3 things that are important. One is the history. The second thing is clinical examination. Third thing is investigation. For example, we look at the cholesterol, we look at the treadmill test, TMT, some form of exercise test is important. And I discussed with Dr. Shetty that there is no need to do a CT scan. CT scan of the heart is not affordable. No nation can afford CT scan of all these people. So we individualize the risk factors, and certainly I will advise people who want to do high intensity exercise, they should have a cardiac checkup. I think that is what is important. Now, coming to the COVID question, there is no doubt that there have been sudden deaths because of COVID. For example, people who recovered from moderate to severe disease from COVID, they can have a cardiac arrest. This is because of ventricular fibrillation. So many patients had ventricular fibrillation, they were recovered, they went home, they died suddenly. And then there are some deaths occurred because of the wrong medication in COVID, particularly the use of chloroquine and erythromycin, because they prolong, QT prolongs. There is something called on ECG QT prolongation. If there is a QT prolonged, these patients get prone to develop ventricular fibrillation or cardiac arrest. So definitely COVID has increased some sudden deaths. But I think the death which our actor had yesterday, it doesn't look like to be related to COVID. It looks like that he had underlying coronary artery disease which was not detected.
All right. Okay, so lots of questions being thrown up there. But Dr. Shetty, first I want to just understand, is it only men? Because we seem to be reporting increasingly Indian men, right, being afflicted by this. What about, do Indian women have high mortality rates from cardiac disease as well, or are we, like Indian men, you're saying, more prone to this compared to Europeans?
All the men are more vulnerable than women, because till the age of 45, women are protected by the hormones, and because nature wants to protect women. But after the age of 45, incidence more or less starts getting equalized with the men. But till the age of 45, women are really protected. The number of women who develop heart attack before the age of 45 is not very common.
That's because after 45, women no longer can procreate, so we're really not valuable anymore.
But let me add you here the question of the heart disease in women. See, it's something tricky. First of all, even we see heart attacks in young females now, and we are seeing heart attacks even in menstruating ladies. Though it is correct that they are protected till they have a menstruation because of the hormone. But let me tell you that we do see patients of heart disease, myocardial infarction in females. That is number one. Number two, they have atypical symptoms. It is more likely that you will miss heart disease in younger ladies because you don't think it is important. And even their outcomes, when they develop heart attack, their outcomes are worse than men. So I think we cannot neglect the females as of today.
Okay. But I think again our viewers have been concerned over the past year that, we're hearing more of young men in their 40s dying suddenly. So I want to again clarify, maybe to you, Dr. Shetty, as you have pointed out, Dr. Clare have pointed out, to me, what is sounding a little contradictory is that you're saying, our lifestyles are more sedentary, even a lifestyle change, yet at the same time, these are men who all seem to be very supremely fit, and as you're pointing out, doing high intensity, hardcore workouts on a regular basis. So what is it, Dr. Shetty? Is it your lifestyle? Because I'm assuming someone like this who is so athletic and fit doesn't have a sedentary lifestyle, isn't eating all kind of, junk food, etc., etc. Dr. Shetty?
Genetic predisposition makes a huge difference. If somebody has a strong family history of heart disease, they are definitely more vulnerable. Then if they are diabetics, they are more vulnerable. And if they are smokers, they are again vulnerable. So essentially, it's not just about the how fit they are. All these other issues also matter. So the more than that, also there is another, as I said in the beginning, there is a group of patients who suffer from thickness of the heart muscle, electrical disturbance. There are many other reasons, coronary artery anomalies. So there are multiple reasons why men who are exercising vigorously, high intensity exercises, they are vulnerable for these problems.
All right. So basically testing, get yourself checked up, do all of these necessary tests. Okay, last question then, Dr. Clare. What advice are you giving in terms of exercise to Indian men in their 40s? Are you saying don't what do you recommend? Walks, strolls? Isn't it better to be doing some kind of intense exercise? How much is enough?
Very good question. I think, first of all, I want to tell you that how high intensity exercise can cause heart attack. See, what happens that somebody is doing high intensity exercise and there are the deposits inside these coronary arteries are called plaques. So what happens that if you do severe exercise, you can have a plaque rupture, and on the plaque rupture there is a immediately clotting of blood occurs, and that is why the artery totally gets blocked and one gets a heart attack. So now coming on to the recommendation of exercise to people, I would say that people below 45 or so, if they want to do exercise, first of all, they should start gradually. If they are not doing exercise, they have to step out on a gradual basis. They should not do on the first day 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. They have to start gradually, number one. Number two, it should be moderate exercise. Means walking, light jogging, swimming, some light game. But if you want to do high intensity exercise, that you want to do a marathon, you want to do a very severe, you want to win in a match, and you want to play football, even if you are young, then I will strongly recommend that these people should have a cardiology checkup.
Cardiology checkup, all right. Never too early to start.
Their exercise test is very important, which is missed in general population. People have a wrong concept in this country that my ECG is normal. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have a heart disease.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Shetty. Dr. Clare, your time is so valuable, and the fact that you can speak about this issue really will, I think, put a lot of people at ease. We appreciate your taking out the time with us, for us tonight. Thank you.